What's bad, YouTube? And welcome to the house. I don't like to start with that instead of what's good, but we've got to sit down and talk turkey real quick on what's about to happen with some upcoming products. Toon Chaos was shorted on allocation, and we can already see the secondary market ramifications not only on sealed product, but also certain singles when it comes to this set. And we do have an unlimited wave of it coming in August, and I've already heard the horror stories of certain distros trying to charge stores $80 a box on the unlimited. So yes, certain people are definitely trying to take advantage of those situations, but I just got word from both Tier 0, so the EU, and YBM, the USA, that the following products, Rise of the Duelist and the Megatons, are going to be shorted on allocation versus what they ordered. This is terrible news, especially for a core set, considering with Eternity Code, we haven't even seen any kind of unlimited printing for that, and special editions are canceled by Konami for the foreseeable future. I definitely think there are so many looked forward to things in here. The Dragma, you have the Noble Knights. So many people were looking forward to this, and it sold out on pre-sales. Now, both the vendors I mentioned, they order a lot of extra, so their pre-sale allocation should be covered, and YBM already confirmed that with me. I'm waiting for Tier 0. It's nappy time for them. They had left me this message earlier, but boy, the Megatons, the biggest product of the year, and they're not going to get what they ordered. That is maddening. That is crazy. And YBM's already pulled them off the shelf here. They're like not trying to make money off of this situation. They're letting you guys know. So I'm grateful to be partnered with such people that are transparent on what's going on, communicative, and willing to give this information early. I know myself, I would have been like a fox in the hen house had I not had a channel and I had been interested in the market. So you guys take this information as you will. This is crazy. And the secondary market, I can't imagine what's going to happen to the singles. The continuing gap probably between first edition and unlimited too, because of this, knowing that first edition runs are going to be shorter, and hopefully we do get an unlimited wave of at least Megatons like the EU did get last year here in the USA this year. Now let's get back to what's good, YouTube, and your regularly scheduled Market Watch. Starting off with a little bit of a buyout on Foolish Burial Goods. I think a lot of people could have seen this one coming a mile away, considering how long people did wait for this art, and we see it over here on TCG Player at 26, and quite a bit lower over here on eBay, but it does quickly start to go up above the $20 mark on the belt. I think that this one will cool down. It's a little bit early, but we're also during weird times where the distribution of the Lost Art promos didn't really get as well as it should have been, and Foolish Burial Goods, a very loved card, and so far we've seen Konami not touch these Lost Arts anywhere else in any other rarity, and it's been really good for locals in my opinion. So if you do want to support your locals, maybe they have some of these left in stock, or you're looking forward to that next Lost Art promo, which is Harpy Queen, you might want to go support them and get some free value if you can. Dragunity Z, of course, getting some rolling buyouts after the reveals of the structure deck last night that were oh so sublime. I had Phoenix Flare X actually talk on that with me. He's kind of the resident expert when it comes to Dragunity Z. But when it is looking at rolling buyouts, Phalanx, I get you might want a holofoil or some kind of different kind. I would imagine this is still going to be in the structure deck. The question more so is, what synchros will be missing, and will they nab them all in that structure? Like, we've seen Barca get several buyouts in the past, so I need to reconfirm and look through, but man, there are quite a few. And we already showed this yesterday with the reveal. Baby Rock's a card you heavily want to consider, and it is gone. YBM is having a flash sale for future products if you want to dig on in before we find out if they're shorted or not too. Gold Series, as well as Phantom Baby Rage, which Phantom Rage is looking like a nice core set. This is very cheap, and I believe it falls under 60 a box if you are ordering a whole case. So if we look at this, it should be, you cannot stack code What's Good 5 here, so you're just going to divide it by the 12, and yeah, under 60 a box when it comes to these, but What's Good 5 will work on the rest of your cart, and you're still supporting the channel if shopping through YBM on this sale, so go and check that out. I definitely think between all the new reveals, especially the Tri-Brigade, Phantom Rage is looking very nice, but more and more, product is starting to look very alluring during these times with the Crush card. Now let's get into some penny stonks real quick, a little bit of a speed run. Curious still only has one printing, and I'm hearing more and more that that's how the Sacred Beast are actually going to play somewhat competitively, at least in the Rogue section. I don't know if they're even going to get up to Rogue status with this. I've played so many people that have literally set their whole hand and then allured and whiffed in that deck. Seems a little bit odd on Dueling Book, but Curious is played in combos within the deck, and it is still only $1 here, and it's an amazing card. This is a card I'd always want to have access to. Never reprinted. Get your copies sooner than later. Cali Effect actually brought this up today on his Get These Before They Skyrocket, and I agree. This came up on subject on the live stream last night. Many can confirm. Mage Power actually brought it up first as one of the penny stocks I'd missed in Toon Chaos, and I do think it will be played heavily with Fire Warrior decks coming out. And even now, I played a deck that's currently legal for Fire Warrior. I underestimated this by far. The deck's going to be absurd. And then Chaos Ancient Gear Giant, not just for the meme page, but also because it's one of the only cards with one printing in Ancient Gears while everything else seems to be very cheap. So this is skyrocketed from $1 to $2, doubled in price, but I do think it could head towards the $5 range over time. So if you're interested in Chaos Gear Ancient Giant here, you know that I'm jumbling the name, but if you're interested in Ancient Gears period, you probably want your copy of this to go along. The ultimate boss monster. Jester Comfort has skyrocketed in price, and the common listings are going as well. This is simply a dark that can pop on out of your hand, extender that really has no bad restrictions. You can only control one. You can special summon this card from your hand. If special summon this way during your opponent's next end phase, target a face-up monster your opponent controls will return both this and that. You know, it would take a while for that to happen, and these can just continuously pop out of your hand for link fodder, synchro fodder, pretty much anything you could want. Or, you know, it's also level 1 for that good old link Rebo play. Collector Market speedrun here. I opened basically all the OTS tabs last night on stream, so if you were there, you've seen some of these. Bountiful Artemis, up in price. Vanity's Fiend, up in price. And Dark Law, it was bought out to 300, down to 200, but still way up versus its original market prices. Black Rose Dragon Ultimate Rare. People back in the day used to actually make fun of how this looked because it's so dark versus its ultimate rare. No longer the case, as ultimates are heralded as such a great thing in the modern era no matter how they look, and we see 75, 75, 75 lining up on Unlims. I'm scared to even find the first edition, but here we go. $300. Jeesh. People really out here wildin'. Ultimate Rare Regeki, $6.99, nice. Up above its market price of $57. People really don't like how this ultimate looks, but many do consider it to be one of the higher rarities. There are so many good Regekis out there, by the way, but we see it lining up above $70 for a lot of the copies now. Terraforming Ultimate Rare has just continuously kept striving despite its limitation, and it's pretty good. 6.9 again, nice. But a lot of them are in that range towards 70. So this is on its way up. I didn't know this was up here, by the way, in the 65 range. Like last I looked, it was 45.50s. Fossil Dig is a stable above $10 card for its super rare. I had suggested back in the day that it actually could have had a higher ceiling than $6, and I looked and it was 9. Now it's 12, so maybe these are sitting in the back of your binder. You didn't know that they've gone up so much. You had them when they were 3 and then 6 and you didn't care too much. They're going very nicely if you want to sell them, but it's an interesting long-term keep. Will we ever get another higher rarity? Would look amazing to have these mins in secret rares. Scapegoat has fallen back out after that initial buyout that just looked maddening for it, and it is falling down back towards the price that they were selling at of $58. Looks like people actually want to make some sales during this time with their cards. We'll keep an eye to see if this one gets another rolling one, with Book of Moon having been recently targeted. Dark Magician Girl Speed Duels. I've been asked oddly quite an amount about this card. Should I keep or should I sell? Should I get out now? I think a lot of people bought in around $5. People love their Dark Magician Girl collections. This is a super rare with that Speed Duel stamp. Speed Duel Tournament Pack 1 has fared very well over time, and it holds. Tournament Pack 1, that's a powerful message. I might consider keeping this over time rather than just yeeting it out at $10. We don't really know the ceiling when it comes to a Dark Magician Girl card, and a lot of people tend to flock towards those. Weird. Actually, that reminds me, in the live editing done cheap, Stay Classy just actually put back up their Dark Magician Girl Unlimited, the Field Center in rose gold. You can use code What's Good 5 over there for 5% off on that. I didn't even expect to do that sellout. I can't help it. Gold Woo Lord of Dark Worlds. We can see vintage values marks right here, but there is one seller left at 100, has been bought out even for the Unlimiteds. People are just going for any and everything on the collectible market, it feels like now, that has any semblance of the past, and I remember when, and this was really cool, you know, back here, but there's not a lot of digging into past formats yet. I have seen that there's a league starting past format tournaments, though, starting with something like 2011 that Simo shouted out on Twitter. So people trying to put cash prize pools and push people towards past formats, it's finally starting in the community, it feels like, and places to play them are starting to pop up. And finally, Spirit Reaper. I have a whole page of these near mint, because back in the day, vendors would only pay 22, and I paid like 18 on them all, and I'm like, I'll hold out to 30. I wouldn't sell it for that today. And seeing the recent buyout, boy, are they crazy. We have a 169 before we see it go all the way up to 300 for near mints here on TCG Player. It really feels like the collector's market is just in this absurd bubble during this time. So many people can't go out, they're used to spending their money, and they are putting it into things that they see as just skyrocketing. I don't think the entire market can hold over time for every single price to go up, but I will say this. I think our collector market was very undervalued compared to Pokemon as well as Magic's. Magic's has had some fallouts with insider information leaking and that kind of stuff, insider trading, but it's with card games, so there's not really legal ramifications. But when it comes to stuff like this, we'd only had one collector boom, and it was thanks to GOATs pulling with it a bit of other pieces of the collectible market, like DDS Blue Eyes and other retro stuff. This has been our first true huge boom, the second coming of the collector's market, and I think things are finally adjusting more so towards the reality of how hard these cards are to get. That being said, what do you guys think of what's happening with the collector's market? I actually think it's about corrected to where it should be versus where it was in the past, but unfortunately that makes it hard to get a lot of cards, and I also still think it's too many different cards. Not everything can be worth money and when it comes to this, but sometimes enough people hold some things, artificial scarcity does arise. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. Any questions at all, leave them below, and use that TCG Player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying. It really does help your favorite e-girl over here, and I appreciate it so much.